everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on Learning Kitchen Live. My name is Chantel, and I am a dietetic intern. I want to first say thank you so much to Boston Scientific, our sponsor. I also wanted to let you know that the recipe I'm making today will be found below in the comments. And there's also a short survey that we'd love for you to take. Gives us an idea of how you're enjoying our Learning Kitchen Live sessions, and also helps us know what you would like to see and what you would like to learn about. So today, I'm excited to share with you a family favorite. It is the Apple Harvest Muffin. And I will say the original recipe is a cake, but I've made it into a muffin today to make it easy, portable, perfect for kids' snacks, perfect for breakfast, perfect for tea time or coffee time in the middle of the afternoon. So I am starting with my dry ingredients, and this particular recipe takes two different kinds of flour. So it has all-purpose flour, and it also has whole wheat flour. So talk a little bit about flour. So whole wheat flour is actually the entire whole wheat grain. So it has lots of fiber, lots of vitamins, lots of minerals in it. So we're really trying to plug eating 50% whole grains. And this recipe is 50% whole grains, so you can feel pretty good about that. And I'm going to tell you a few other things that you can feel good about this recipe in a few minutes as well. But the whole grain is actually loaded with fiber. It's great for heart health, helps lower your cholesterol, and it's just overall really great for your gut as well. The all-purpose flour has a little bit of a different nutrient profile because the outer grains have been stripped away from it, so it doesn't have all of the fiber in it. But in a recipe, it does help to lighten up the batter and helps it to rise really nicely. So that's what we've got going on here. I also have some sugar, and I'm using brown sugar as well as granulated sugar. So I've already measured this out. Putting that in. This is packed brown sugar. That's why it looks like it's in a little clump there. And I'm going to break that up to make sure that it blends really nicely into the flour. You don't want to have any pockets or clumps of that in your batter. So I'm going to mix that up just a bit. And as far as buying whole wheat flour and how to store it, so whole wheat flour actually has oils in it. And if you don't store it in a cool, dry place, it can go rancid. And rancid means when you open the bag, you're going to think, wow, that smells terrible. And it also will make whatever you're making also taste a little funky. So you're going to want to keep your flour, if you have space, in an airtight container or a zipper top bag in your freezer or in the very back of your refrigerator. So definitely recommend that so that it lasts longer. Not everybody is using their whole wheat flour really quickly. They might go through their all-purpose flour faster, so that'll help keep it good for you for a longer period of time, which saves you some money so you don't have to go buy it every single time you want to make something. I'm also going to be adding my other dry ingredients. So I have some salt in here, some baking powder and baking soda. So those are two leaveners that are going to help the muffin rise. And then I have a tablespoon of cinnamon, which is great for flavor. Now, I will say, as far as this recipe is concerned, the original recipe does call for whole wheat flour. I don't recommend subbing out for anything else because the whole wheat flour brings a wonderful nutty flavor that pairs really well with the apples and pairs really well with the cinnamon to give it that sort of, tuck into fall sort of flavor. I know it's not fall, and we're all hoping it's going to get warm soon, but that was the idea that I came up with in my head. Okay, so I've mixed these ingredients together really well. These are all of my dry ingredients that are going in. And now I want to talk about my liquid ingredients. So I have this unusual conglomeration. You might be wondering what's in this bowl. This is actually a mixture of oil and applesauce. So oils or fats, when they're used in baked goods, actually help lend moisture to whatever you're making. And they also help bind it together because it's a liquid, so it's part of your liquid ingredients. However, fats also have a lot of calories. And so I, years ago, found out that you could actually take out part of your oil from your recipe and substitute applesauce for that. So that's what I've done today. A tablespoon of oil, for you people who like numbers, is about 120 calories per tablespoon. Well, I've removed half of the oil from this recipe, so I've removed 720 calories from this recipe just by taking out half of the oil. Now, those of you who are skeptical, I totally understand. But I'll tell you, I've done this so many times and nobody has ever noticed that I took out the oil. So It's a great way to make your baked good healthier. We like to eat baked goods. It's something that we enjoy, but it helps to help lower the calories in it and helps make it more healthy. Applesauce is a great substitute because it's inexpensive. It's easy to find, and the applesauce I'm using is unsweetened applesauce. So I'm not adding any extra sugar to it, but the applesauce helps add the moisture back that I'm taking out with the oil. So I'm going to pop this in. And I promise you it's going to look like a mess for a little while until I bring it together. Okay. Make sure I'm on track here. So the other thing I wanted to say was I have tried this in the applesauce oil substitution in many different cakey types of recipes and have found it most successful in the cakey type of recipes. What I mean by that is blueberry muffins, banana bread, even oatmeal cookies. I've even used it in box cakes. Just take out half the oil, substitute applesauce. That neutral flavor doesn't alter the flavor of whatever your cake mix flavor might be or whatever kind of bread that you might be making. Okay, I'm also going to be adding 3 eggs. Let's hope this goes well. Cracking eggs on camera is a little nerve-wracking. Hopefully I don't get any shells in the mix. I succeeded with the first one. Let's see how the next one goes. Eggs are a great binder for baked goods, and eggs also have great vitamins, and they are loaded with protein as well. So that actually puts some protein in this muffin as well. And look at that, I did it. I'm a little bit sticky, so I'm going to wipe off my hands really quick. And then the last little thing I'm going to add for a little pop of flavor is a little bit of vanilla. And that's it for the wet ingredients. I'm going to blend this up just a bit. I'm going to kind of get those eggs going, mixing them up in the pan. I could have scrambled them beforehand, but I was a little too lazy to do that, so I'm just mixing them in the pot. This is a great one pot or one bowl cake to make. I'm going to partially mix this, and then I'm going to add in my apples just to get this going. I don't want to work the gluten that's in the flour too much and make a tough batter. So I'm going to get that, let that sit there for a second, and we're going to move over to apples. So this recipe is great for any type of apple that you have. So whatever apple you have in your pantry is great to use. I love using apples in baked goods because they are always available in the grocery store. They often go on sale, and because this particular recipe doesn't ask for a specific kind of apple, and you can use whatever you want, whatever's on sale at the grocery store, get that and use that. So to peel an apple, this is the easy way to peel an apple as far as I'm concerned. I have a lazy cheat that I use. So I usually take the top off of the apple. If you are super savvy and can cut an apple skin off with a knife, that is great. I am terrible at that, which is why I am using a vegetable peeler, essentially. But if you do that, please be careful. So I've taken the top off, I've taken the bottom off, and then I just go around the edge, and I take off the outer edge of the apple. Now, I will tell you this. As a future dietitian, I'm removing a lot of the nutrients and fiber right now because a lot of the fibers in the skin of the apple. This particular recipe, the apple skin is not super great once it's baked and makes it kind of chewy. If you enjoy that extra sort of texture added to it, by all means you can keep it in, but I definitely recommend taking off the skin for this particular recipe. Also, oops, I missed a strip. Also, wash your apples before you peel them, or if you're going to use the skin, be sure to wash your apples before you put it in with the skin. You don't need any kind of fancy cleaner for it. The FDA just recommends that you use water. So that's super easy. No fancy special fruit cleaner or anything like that. Okay, this is a Melon Baller. If you have this rolling around in your drawer, you're probably thinking, why do I have that rolling around in my drawer? I never use it. Well, this is going to give you an opportunity to use your Melon Baller. So a Melon Baller usually has 2 different sides on it, a smaller one and a larger one. Depending on the size of my apple seed pocket here, it will help me decide which side I'm going to use. I put the Melon Baller portion over the seed pocket, and I press in with my thumb and twist. And all your seeds just popped right out of your apple. Super convenient and less waste. There's also a blossom end on your apple, and I usually just use my Melon Baller to take out the blossom end on each side so there aren't any little strange bits left over. I'm going to show you that one more time. Take your Melon Baller, put it over your seed pocket, push with your thumb, and give it a twist, and boom, all your seeds just came out. And then just removing that blossom end on each side. So, easy way to seed an apple, easy way to peel an apple. I already have some apples chopped up for me for this recipe. They have gotten a little bit brown because we cut them beforehand. That's no big deal. They oxidize just a tiny bit. They're perfectly fine to eat. No problem there. I'm going to add these to my mix. I was going to use my spatula, but it's stuck in the cake batter, so I'm not going to use my spatula. All right, and you give this a bit of a stir. At first, it's going to look like it's not going to come together. Don't panic. Just keep stirring. And you're going to want to make sure you're digging down to the bottom of the bowl because that is where the flour likes to stay and it doesn't want to incorporate. So you kind of need to encourage it to get in the mix with everybody else. Okay, so apples also have great vitamin C, which is really good for your immune system, helps to keep your cells healthy. And if I had left the fiber in, the whole wheat flour subs for my fiber today, it's also good for your gut health. Okay, so that's all blended, nicely mixed together. I am going to show you how to put this into the muffin tins. I am using another bit of a cheat here. I have a scoop. This is about a 1/4 cup scoop. If you don't have a scoop, just use your 1/4 cup measure and it's totally fine. I don't recommend you overfilling these. I do recommend that you make sure that you try to fill them evenly as possible. When I was practicing this recipe, I didn't do that on one of them and that one didn't cook. So you want to make sure you're at least making them even. So just scoop up some of the batter into your muffin liner. Now, I will also say this, I don't always have cupcake liners in my pantry. So all you have to do is spray the little muffin tin wells with a little bit of cooking spray and you're good to go. This particular recipe makes about 16 different little muffins. So it's a good bang for your buck as far as maybe it's a great breakfast for the week for your kiddos. Or like I said, we were big on tea time at my house, so it would be a tea time treat. All righty. Easy, right? So these will go into the oven at 325 degrees for between 22 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven. So you want to keep an eye on that. But I have some already made for you. And you can see they are golden brown. Again, I promise you that they are also delicious. You can actually see the beautiful apples in there. They cook really nicely. They get soft. And the combination of the wheat flour and the cinnamon just make it just a really delightful muffin. So I hope that you give it a try. Reminder that the recipe is below in the comments and the survey is as well. So thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure to join us next week on Learning Kitchen Live.